Good day, my people, my people, my people, my people, my people. My name is Alan Palmer, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora machismo. People, I am coming to you not live today, but in a pre-recorded video. Because a live video will not do this video justice, because there are some things that I need to put into this video that would aid in helping to understand what I'm going to do. People, the Ralph Shit Stain Gonsalves government has been boasting of an education revolution. You would have thought that after an education revolution, that St. Vincent and the Grenadines would have seen the benefit of such a revolution, where the government would have been implementing policies that would have benefited the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. However, we see some of those people have been beneficiaries of this education revolution, had been involved in criminal activities, and are now before the courts.
Morgan has been accused of barging onto the property of 62-year-old blockmaker Cornelius John in mid-April in the company of two men. Said that one man shot him in his left foot, and he also accused Senator Morgan of menacing him with a gun and threatening to shoot him in the mouth if he mentioned her name in any conversation. John said that
they did not use their degree in a manner that would have developed the country, but they used their degree in a manner that is aid in degrading the high standards that our country and people want for. We also see Ralph Shit Stain Gonsalves have been using the instrument of government in trying to aid a miscarriage of justice on several fronts. He have used the instrument of government to disenfranchise Leon Samuel, aka Bigger Biggs, who owned a multi-million-dollar black-making company that was bringing in useful income to hundreds of workers. We have seen all of these things happening, and you would have thought that after 20 years, Ralph Shit Stain Gonsalves and the people who he have surrounded himself with would have understand the way governments are supposed to be functioning. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines acquired some properties in the Lower Kingston area. There are some properties on Back Street in the area of Queen Street and Bentinck Square that the government is going to demolish in the next 3 months. By September, these properties should be demolished. Here we have properties of historic significance, properties that the National Trust should be interested in, properties that should be preserved for our next generation so that they can know or have an idea of what St. Vincent looked like in the olden state. We know every state in the United States of America have been going about busy trying to sort out properties of historic significance and value, and they have been preserving them as historical sites. We have known countries within the Caribbean has been endeavoring on such a thing. In Little Bermuda, the town of St. George's has been declared a heritage site by the International Heritage Body, and thousands of tourists visit that town each year just to be a part of history. Yet, we have a government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines who are hell-bent in destroying everything that is of historic value in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You go down to the area of Rose Place. There are some properties that are about to be demolished. Look at these beautiful buildings. Look at the character in these buildings. These buildings have such character. They have such strength that teach us of a past where art and craftsmanship had value, where people took pride in what they did. But no, it is the government delight to demolish these buildings that are over 100 years old, that have stood the test of time, that has been there and saw many volcanic eruptions yet, but they still stand. They have been there and they were battered by many hurricanes, but they still stand. But it takes an idiot in the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Shit Stain Gonsalves, to demolish such buildings of historic value and significance, because they don't think. They have a planning division, and the planning division never take time out to see what the people are demolishing. There is no law to prevent people from demolishing all historic property without permission from the planning division. You have to remember, if you go to Puerto Rico, if you go to as simple as Puerto Rico have an entire city that is a historical site. It is called, I think, Old San Juan in Puerto Rico. None of those buildings will be touched. They have small corridors for streets. But what Puerto Rico did, like Brazil did, they dedicated new lands for a new city and they developed a new capital. And this is what the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines should do with the site that they say they're going to build a new city with at Annisville, the old decommissioned E.T. Joshua Airport. That should be the next new city. That should be the capital of St. Vincent. Work hard to preserve the historical sites in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The historical building that has significance and value of the past. But no, they're demolishing everything. There was a beautiful 2-story building on Back Street that was owned by 2 old people called the Spruts. The Spruts have long died over 25 years ago. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines allow that building to be demolished. A beautiful historic building that was over 100 years old. Beautiful historic building, brick downstairs with beautiful varnish floor, wooden upstairs, beautiful shingled building, and they allow that building to be demolished. The Prescott building is another historic building, and we just sit by, and all we think about is filling our gut. We don't take time out to think about the past and how we are going to preserve the past. And this is not the signs or the evidence that a government that had an education revolution. This is the sign that a government who is based upon idiotic policies, who has idiots at the head of the administration, and who have been embarked upon the edifying of our entire nation, because all of the degrees that these people came up with, none of them has the presence of mind to think about these historic buildings that have been torn down willy-nilly without any thought about preserving for the next generation the history and the architecture that is over 100 years old. What kind of people do we have in our country? What kind of idiots we have sitting in the administrative capacity of our country that are allowed to manage the affairs and the resources of our country, when these people are not even smart enough to preserve the things that are equipped for the future? It is a crying shame, and everyone in St. Vincent and the Grenadines should be ashamed of themselves because of people who don't know their past, will never be able to properly chart their future. And that is what we are doing. We are destroying every remnant of our past. We don't preserve those old people. We don't hear the stories. We don't document the stories. We don't do anything about the past. And we think that we are going to chart a future that will be beneficial for the citizens that are to come on stream. You got to be crazy. My name is Alan Palmer, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, and I will remain St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son. Because it only takes a man of strength to be able to oppose those who are feared. I fear no one. I'll talk to you soon.